What's up? Cool, so I'm just wiring up the car stereo connector, I guess, like the harness, for my new head unit. So it's for 95 240SX. Cool, so I guess start a little bit about this head unit. Pioneer MVH X370BT. I'll throw it up in the description, but basically looked this up on this website called The Wirecutter. They do a bunch of reviews for things, so they suggested that this one was the best head unit, basically. It's really good at Bluetooth audio, which I'm super psyched about. A lot of the other ones aren't that good, or like you can't connect multiple phones, or when your phone does connect, it doesn't automatically start playing the music for you and things like that. So this one does all that stuff. And so yeah, just gonna be wiring up the harness, and then I'll be installing it in the car.
Alright, so I ended up getting those all soldered together and shrink tubed around the solder, and got that all together, and then I was ready to go. So I got in my car and realized that the battery was dead. So I jumped it with my girlfriend's car, and then ended up driving to a Target parking lot so that I could then do some work out in some brighter lights so that I could shoot it. So that's where we are next.
Hey, what's up everyone? Alright, so I'm replacing my stereo or like head unit right now. So first thing you gotta do is just grab right here, shift boot, pop it up, comes right out. And it looks like there's, so I'm just gonna set it aside because I'm just trying to get to this. Looks like there's two screws down here. So gotta unscrew those. Luckily the guy used screws here instead of, looks like he didn't use them anywhere else. So take these screws off. You can see it loosening up. Alright, put those somewhere safe. Okay, looks like alright, so I ended up getting it off. Basically, this is here, you just kind of pop it off. I pulled from the top, came right off. And now this thing can come right off, so that's good. Looks like nobody plugged back in the cigarette, the power adapter. It's right here, it's just not plugged in. And it looks like, yep, that's the light. I was wondering what those cables were for. So, set those down. Up here, it looks like we have a nice mounting. There's two more screws up here. Gotta unscrew. It's holding the radio in. The head unit. I'm just gonna unplug these so that I have a little bit more space. If you're wondering, I'm out here just so that we can have some more light instead of being in my garage. It's super dark in the garage, so nothing shows up very good. So, one more screw down here. And it looks like there's somewhat mess of wires back here, so I'll pull this out. This guy did kind of a shitty job installing. So got that out. So this puppy just slides right out now that you've unplugged everything. So here's the old head unit. Looks very similar to my new one. No Bluetooth or anything though. It's about like twice the size too, so I think this is an older one, older version. So I'm just gonna throw this in the back. Pull out the new stuff. Here's the wires that I soldered together. You can see, put shrink tubing on all of them. On this guy's, basically did none of that, just did a bunch of electrical tape, it looks like. You have to push, so it looks like the side, maybe is it just this front? So I'm gonna take my screwdriver and just push it in here. There we go, that works. I gotta pull out the head unit. Alrighty, so here's mine. Here you can see it's like way thinner than the old one. I got this little mic too, so I gotta plug that in the back. Drop it, throw it down somewhere, drop it somewhere so that I can mount it out near my dash. So I guess I can like take calls or something. The Bluetooth, which is nice. So it says mic. There. See, one thing I'm looking for is the antenna. I think this guy might have pulled out. I think the previous owner pulled out the whole antenna. Can't seem to find. No idea what that is. Is this the antenna? No.
So, that actually is the antenna. After I installed the head unit, I went home and kind of Googled some stuff and realized that the antenna on Nissans actually need an adapter to fit into the standard like Motorola antenna. So I went on Amazon and ordered that and got it a few days later and then hooked it up. And radio ended up coming through. Radio ended up working basically. So just a heads up, you need a little adapter.
Yeah, no idea where the antenna is. There's some screws for the holes are not big enough. So it's like there's this metal thing here, and there's a hole there. It looks like it's for mounting. It's not quite big enough.
So after trying to get all the screws and mount it up a little bit tighter with the radio in the actual like plastic/metal mounting bracket, I ended up just kind of leaving it, and it was super snug already in it, so the screws would just be kind of like an extra help to keep it in there extra tight. So later I might go in and like drill some holes in the actual metal mounting thing, but it's super snug right now as it's in the car.
Plug the stereo part into the stereo. Cool. So first thing you want to do before you screw everything back in is just make sure that it's actually working. So power it up.
So after going through all that and installing it, I turned it on and nothing actually worked. So I ended up kind of calling it quits for the day, went back, and actually the car wouldn't start again because I didn't drive it enough to charge up the battery. So I got some random guy to come and jump me, and luckily I had the cables in my trunk. So then a couple days later I checked it out again, and one of the fuses in the fuse box right by your feet when you're driving, the electron bat fuse ended up being burnt out, I guess.
And so I replaced that and the radio started working. And then like the next day the car wouldn't start, and I unplugged that fuse and the car started right up, and the radio and clock on the dash wouldn't work. So that was a pain. And then the next day after that, I started the car up with the electron bat fuse out, and then put the electron bat fuse in. And so I started the car, got the fuse back in, and then the radio working. And then after that, since then, the car has started up fine, and the radio has been working ever since. So if you're having some issues with the car starting or the radio out, check the electron bat fuse. Maybe that's your issue.